Hey guys, come on in. Authorchi here. It's almost time for Divorceproof Your Marriage. Y'all, we're going to have some good conversation tonight. I cannot wait. So I'm going to give at least a minute, an extra minute or so to have you all join in before we get started. And I'm both live on YouTube and Facebook right now. So you can tune in either at any platform. Get your questions and your comments together, get them ready. We're going to have some really good conversations, but we want to hear from you. So feel free to be a part of the conversation. All right, just making sure we are live. I think we are. All right, so listen, happy 2021. Authorchi here, best-selling author and divorce coach. I am here tonight because I want to talk about something very important. So I'm here for the married folks tonight, okay? And we're going to talk about divorce-proofing your marriage. Yes, because this pandemic has been hell on marriages. I mean, last year, the divorce rate increased by about 20%. So there's a lot of people that are being challenged right now. And I'm not married, but I have a heart for married people. I have a heart for singles. I have a heart for everyone that's trying to do relationships the right way. And so as a divorce coach, I'm not an advocate for divorce. I do not help people get divorced. What I do is that I want to prevent divorce. So if it means that I have to bring married couples on to teach people that are married how to divorce-proof their marriage, what are those tools that they can implement in their marriage to create that longevity, I'm going to do that. My content is always centered around, divorce-proofing your life pretty much. So through dating, healthy dating practices when you're engaged, knowing, how to pick the right partner, because that's very foundational when it comes to having a successful marriage. And if by any chance, God forbid, you have gone through a divorce, I'm here to kind of help you pick up the pieces, heal, and rebuild your life and position your heart to love again and receive love again. So that's what I do as a divorce coach. So without further ado, guys, I have the Akhabue family. Okay, they are, I can't tell you how much this couple means to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring them on so I can brag on them a little bit. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Okay, I see y'all all booed up, Oh, yeah, I can't see Gabe. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Maybe this will be better. How about that? That's fair. Okay, I can see y'all. Okay, y'all with the blue and green. When I get my boo, we're going to be wearing the same colors every day, even to bed. Okay? We're just going to be matching. How y'all doing tonight?
We are doing great. Maintaining.
I hear that. So listen, I got to brag on y'all a little bit. Gabriel, this is Gabriel and Chioma Akhabue. So I'm little sis, that's big sis and big bro. They've been married for 15 years. They have 3 beautiful daughters. And guys, everybody wear glasses in this family. It's the cutest. We're the little tiny 7-year-old. Everybody got glasses. They're so cute.
We have astigmatism in our eyes.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, got you. But one thing about this couple, and reason why I chose Chioma and Gabe, is because I have witnessed this dynamic couple experience the up and downs of marriage, and they have been resilient all the way through it. I mean, they have so much wisdom that I feel like is God given, and they've coached so many different couples. They coach me even in my dating experiences. And so I sit at their feet and I just drink from them because it's so much wisdom. But I did want to highlight something they did for me that was life-changing. When I went through my divorce and I didn't have a place to stay, I didn't really know how to navigate through divorce. They were the couple that brought me in and said, you can live with us free of charge until you get yourself together. And I remember my sister Chioma, she got in my face and she said, as long as you here, you're going to get your life together and you're going to heal and you're going to make it through this. And they made sure, even though they've never been through a divorce, the wisdom of God was on their life to help me. And so I will be forever grateful and in debt to my brother and my sister for the love that they showed me. And I have to share them with the world now because their wisdom is not something that can be contained. So I'm going to stop talking because I can go on for hours. But Chioma and Gabe, tell us about yourself and tell us what you do.
So I'm Chioma, obviously. This is Gabe.
Yes.
So we're both in the real estate industry. So I am a realtor. My favorite color is green. Everything in my marketing is green. So that's just kind of why I'm trying to represent today. And hubby is a
mortgage lender.
He's a mortgage lender, guys.
Yes.
How great is that? Like, we are a team. So
Absolutely.
we can get you into your home. We can refinance your home. So I know we're talking about divorce-proof in the marriage, but we can help you get into your house too.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's part of marriage too. So that's just a little bit about us. And like you said, we've been married for almost 15 years in June. We do have 3 beautiful girls, and that keeps us busy and on top of our game. And so we wouldn't have any other way. So we love each other.
You're so cute. Oh my goodness. Gabe, did you want to say anything? Gabe is the strong, silent type. He just
Hey, man, there's nothing to say. I just let her talk. I just sit back and just watch.
Yeah,
15 years look like, don't it?
He gonna talk on tonight, guys.
Yes.
Well, we want to hear from you, so you better have something to say. But I know you got a lot to say. I know it's gonna help a lot of people. So let's get into it. I mean, you guys are in business together. I think it's a beautiful thing. So you do real estate investments, and you've been doing that for like over 10 years or so, right?
Flipping homes and renting out properties. That's kind of our thing.
How is it like working with your spouse? I know there's a lot of couples out here that are thinking about working with their spouse, but like, I don't know, we might start fighting and being at each other. So how is it like?
That's pretty cool. I mean,
It's something we both are passionate about.
Yeah.
So, I think if you're able to find that passion, it can work. It can work, definitely.
Yeah, we're definitely very passionate with what we do. So it doesn't feel like work. It feels like, we're just tag team. It's just like a team effort. So, I mean, I know we probably not sounding like the typical couple that's always at each other's throat. We do have those moments. But, for the most part, when we're in real estate mode, we're in real estate mode. And it's been good so far. I can't complain.
Absolutely.
I love it. So, okay, everybody, I know you guys, but, Chioma's my big sister. So you guys feel like you're seeing double, we look alike. So, but Gabe is like, no. So tell me how you two met, because people don't know you and they may be questioning, how did y'all meet? Like 15 years of marriage, how did that start off? So share that with me.
Man, me and Gabriel have 2 different stories on how we met.
Yeah.
So, but my story is we met in school, in college.
That part is correct.
That part is correct. Okay. We got one agreement.
Yes, we had a class together. Gabe was thinking he was funny, so he was kind of like the class clown. Everybody was kikiing. Every little thing he say to little girls, so I was just kind of like, this guy's just doing, he thinks he's all that kind of thing. So afterwards, he approached me and was just like, hey, are you from Nigeria? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, you my sister. We need to exchange numbers sometimes. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, but I do have a boyfriend. And he was like, I'm just trying to be cool with you. I'm like, okay. So
was that true, Gabe? Or was that game?
I mean, she thought I was trying to hit on her.
I thought he was trying to holler.
I'm not trying to have no girl.
So you weren't trying to hit on her, Gabe?
Huh?
You weren't trying to hit on her?
No, I wasn't.
You see how cute I am.
I was.
I'll let him have that, but but honestly, we were friends for many years before we actually started to like seriously date. I mean, it was like years.
Absolutely.
We were really close friends. So I mean, to be honest, we were friends.
So what made you guys kind of go from that friend to dating? Because I know you probably was the one that initiated. But so what made you say, you know what, I really want to make her more than just a friend?
That's a good question. With us, we were friends for years, and then, we lost touch.
Yeah.
For a couple of years, and when we reconnected back, I think it was you that kind of helped us reconnect back. So thank you, Authorchi. When we were connected back and we started talking, I just, I was able to notice a change, a positive change in her. I noticed the growth, the maturity, a lot of the qualities I was looking for in a wife. Well, for me also, by that time, I was more so ready to settle down. I had gotten all the playing, the having fun. I gotten all that out of my system.
Chioma, you disagreeing with that?
No, I wholeheartedly disagree. But it's okay.
Well, most of it. I got most of it out.
Okay.
So, I knew what I was looking for. And, she was starting to talk some sense. Finally, I'm like, okay.
He said I was mature, but I thought it was the bow leg.
He's throwing shade right now. He said, like, when I first met, you was just.
Listen, it was nothing but the eyes. You see them shaky eyes?
He said he was attracted to my eyes. I was like, you sure it wasn't the bow leg? It was my eyes.
It was the eyes, It was the eyes and the what else?
And the big behind.
Nah.
Wow.
It was the eyes and her character.
That's a good word for it. That's new. That's a new word.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because like I said, I feel like, how you date and who you choose before you get married is very foundational.
Yeah.
So now you guys were friends, you started dating. Chioma, when did you know, like, Gabe, and I'm gonna use this term, green flags? What was that green flag to let you know that Gabe was your husband? Like,
I mean, it was just kind of his maturity. Like he's always been this kind of man's man. So I just had this sense that I knew that he would do whatever it takes to kind of take care of his family, because anytime I would see him, and this honestly kind of sealed the deal for me, he would have all his little nieces and nephews, and they were little bitty, itty little bitty things. And they would be in the house with him. And I'm like, you feeding these kids? You combing their hair? You changing their diapers? Like, they were little. And he would be taking care of them. It'd be like 4 of them, and they're at the house. And I'm like, who's helping you? He's like, I'm doing. I change their diaper. I feed them. And I was just like, my eyes was like heart signs. Like, boom, 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 boom. Like, I just saw how he was taking care of, and he's still the same today with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we always have them at the house. Sometimes all 11 of them be here. But we're very involved with our nieces and nephews like
Absolutely.
that. And he's still the same way. He takes care of the girls. So I was like, if he could take care of these little ones like this, for sure he can take care of his own family, his own children the same way. So that kind of sealed the deal for me.
oh, that's such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I would ask Gabe, but we want to get into, because I know it was love at first sight. You was like, that's wifey. So just for the sake of conversation, Gabe, how did you know that Chioma was your wife?
It's just a conversation, because we've been friends for so many years. I kind of knew a lot about her, but just after we connected and just noticing that maturity, like I spoke about earlier, and me also. So it wasn't necessarily all her, but just I was at a different place in my life at that time also. Mm-hmm. I was able to kind of see more clear, because my thought process was more in line with what I was looking for in the future in terms of marriage. So I was able to kind of, pay attention more to what was in front of me as opposed to just trying to see, what's all around me.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helped. And once I was able to kind of, understand what I had, and I was able to look into those eyes. I'm like, okay, her personality kind of shine through. But
you're keeping it real. I love that. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's beautiful. And kind of what I heard you saying is that you had to get to the place where you were ready. Because I know that sometimes women are dating men that are not really ready and they're trying to make them ready. But it was only until you were ready that you were able to kind of quiet down the noise and the distractions and the women to
I want
really.
to say something to that, Chief.
Okay, go ahead.
And in the since we're keeping it real, I mean, he wasn't yet ready the whole time because when we were kind of dating, and I started having like he would say little comments like, "One day you're gonna be my wife," kind of thing. I'm like, "Yeah, boy, whatever." And then I started to
right.
I was starting to have feelings for him, right? So I was like, "I'm coming over. I need to talk to you." And I was like, I'm digging you. I'm having feelings for you. Let me tell you what homeboy said to me. He's like, I know you the one for me, but I'm just not ready right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to do my thing. And I was like, word? Okay.
You said that, Gabe.
He said that to me. And I was just like, bet, I'm going to just lean back because I ain't going to wait for you. But, he was real. I mean, he was honest. He was like, I'm just not yet ready for that. And even though he claimed he was already in tuning in to every conversation I was saying, but I think he was getting there. And so when I kind of got there a little bit before he did, and he was just kind of like, well, I just don't want to like hurt you in a sense because I'm there, but not there yet. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna just lean back.
I mean, I knew all along she was gonna be my wife, but she wasn't ready yet. Therefore, I wasn't quite ready. So when she when she came back to me and said, yes, I love you. I want you to be my boyfriend.
I did not say that.
So when she came to
me, tonight, make sure you tell the truth on But listen, I want to get into, it's a beautiful story. I have a comment that says beautiful relationship, guys. I really want to get into the meat. This is all really, really good. And we have so much to talk about. But say that again.
We said, all right.
Yes. So people are really struggling in the pandemic with their marriages. So we want to help some people out, right? So if I were to ask you guys, what would you say maybe the top 3 areas? And let's start with the first one that maybe couples are struggling with in the pandemic. What are some that you guys are currently going through, or a couple that's going through that we want to speak on tonight?
You want to go ahead, baby?
Okay. Are you saying what couples are going through?
Yeah, because I'm not married, so I don't know, what couples are dealing with in the pandemic. I have an idea, but it's kind of, from firsthand experiences. What are some of the new challenges that have arisen since the pandemic has happened?
I think certainly finances is one of them, because during this pandemic, a lot of people have been either laid off or working reduced hours, have gotten COVID and had, having to stay home without, receiving a salary. There's been a change. It's either, COVID has helped your business or COVID has hurt your business, and exactly. So I haven't really met a lot of people that have said COVID just didn't really affect their business one way or the other, or their job. Because it's affected us in all areas of our life.
And in the top of the year last year, we actually, both of us left our job. So yeah, we weren't really getting that kind of income in right away. It sounds crazy, but we felt led to do so. And we left. And so we did have moments where financially we were trying to figure out how things were going, how we were going to make ends meet.
So let's stay there, because some couples go through that. Okay, both of you guys, you didn't have a job, you got 3 girls you got to take care of. So stress is high, right? And so then sometimes some couples turn on each other and start blaming them. You need to stop spending. So how did you guys not turn that energy towards each other, but turn that energy towards being more aggressive in your business? Like, how did you make sure that didn't have a negative impact on your marriage?
I think the biggest thing for me and Gabe is we always try to work like a team. And we've gone through job loss before. Like this ain't nothing. We've been through this about 3-4 times, okay? So this is, we've been through job loss. And I think the first time that we experienced the true hardship and the shock of somebody losing their job.
Absolutely.
And I think, hubby went through some emotional changes because, he's a man. He wants to supply and take care of his family. He did whatever he needed to do. And he was kind of going through that funk. And I had to remind him, I'm like, look, I'm your wife. We are a team. So I'm not your enemy. You fighting me is not going to help. We have to get into this together. And that's been our mantra ever since. Like anything we do it as a team. We take the emotions out of it. Yes, I mean, you're going to be emotional, but we have to be emotional, like emotionally support each other. It's not me against you or you against the world by yourself. We're doing this together. So we always have approached everything in our marriage as a team. And we communicate it. It's not an expectation. It's something we communicate as a team, right?
I love that. And Gabe, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, when we both left our job, we had a game plan now. So I don't want it to come across like we just up and just decided to leave without having a game plan.
Yeah.
For years prior to us even thinking about leaving, we had our real estate that we were trying to do, get up and running on the side. And we were doing on the side, but, we wanted to ramp it up. So when we both decided to leave, I left in February and she left in March, a month later. We pretty much had the game plan already set, so it was more so, okay, now it's time to put the game plan into action.
It took time to.
What I'm hearing you guys saying, because as we tackle, because a lot of marriages, become complicated when there's financial issues. So what I'm hearing you guys say, y'all had a handle on your finances because you guys planned. You planned everything out. You saved.
But we didn't. The first time this happened to us when we lost our jobs,
taught us a lesson.
We had no plan.
Okay.
From that point, when we first went through that job loss, we vowed to each other we will never be in this situation again. And even if somebody loses their job, we're gonna start saving. We're gonna find, and that's how we got into real estate, because that was going to be the quickest way we could build wealth. Yeah. Because we almost lost our house the first time. We were looking at apartments. We had babies. I had like 3 little babies within that time period. It was difficult. Okay. And we vowed we would never allow ourselves to go through that again. Because we almost lost it all. We filed for bankruptcy, everything. We almost lost it all, literally. Yeah. And that taught us a hard lesson. So that's why we have a plan now, because we learned from that lesson.
I love that. And so you mentioned communication, and again, that's another area. Everybody always tell you communication is so important in marriage, but we don't always know how to communicate right. Okay, so I want to help some people out here, because sometimes, and even when I was married, eons ago, I realized that men, it's hard to communicate to men sometimes. It feels like it's never the right time. You need to come to me at the right time. When is the right time? Not during football, not during dinner, not before sex, not after sex. It's like, when is the right time to tell us how we feel? And it's like, okay, if we come at the right time, we didn't say it the right way. Okay, we can't have no attitude. We gotta be real gentle. But when they talk, they be real direct and not gentle. So anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Tell us, Gabe, how do men like to be communicated to from their wives? When do they like it, and how do they prefer? You taking notes?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for all men, but I can only speak for me. I just, if you have something to say, like you said, not doing sports, not before sex, because that just ruins, it just kills the mood. But definitely, on a relaxing, chill evening, like you said earlier, tone definitely matters. At the end of the day, I'm still a man, and I don't want to feel like I'm getting, spoken to like a child, So it's about knowing how to communicate with, me as your husband. So anytime when it's not sports, when it's not right before sex, I'm good.
So that's about literally maybe a 30-minute.
That's not.
So, is it okay for a wife, excuse me, to say, I need to talk to you? Because I hear sometimes men say, well, that makes me put my guard up if you tell me you need to talk to me. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, it does.
Do this.
So what have I done now?
I think when I say, babe, I need to talk to you, I don't give him a long window. I'm like, I need to talk to you, and can we talk in a few minutes? Like, I don't really give him too much time to start shutting down. I just like, can we talk in about 5 minutes? Because that way he just be like, shoot, let me just get ready for this conversation. He don't shut down, right? Because I feel like if I give him like, I need to talk to you later tonight at 6 p.m., then he started already shutting down prior to then. But Gabe, he's right. I mean, I had to master the artistry of coming to my husband to talk to him about something, because I did go through those different type of emotions where this is not the right time. The way you said it was wrong. Your voice is high. You need to bring it low. I'm not your child.
So what's the art? Share with us that art.
The art is like, I talk to him like very respectfully. It's kind of like, hey, babe, I've been thinking and I want us to talk. I was really thinking about the situation that happened yesterday. Like, I don't have no emotions. I'm like, hey, baby. I just keep it very straight and matter of fact, and just be like,
no raising your voice.
Just how we talk normally. Like, hey, babe, I need to talk to you about something that was on my mind. And, the other day when you said this, I was thinking, when I approach him like that, he's more willing to listen, because it's not a whole bunch of emotions. It's not loud talking, and, because I can do that.
Ain't no tears behind it,
Ain't no tears, because I know I can get very emotional and passionate. And so I've learned that if I want Gabe to hear me, I need to talk in a tone that he can most receive.
So for the ladies out there, men don't hear tears, they hear words, right? Like, use your words. And they start crying, I think.
Yeah, when you start crying, he already starts shutting down.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, the feelings hurt. I don't know what to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So not to say there's not times you're not gonna show emotions. I mean, there's times you're gonna show emotions. We're human beings. But I feel like when you're really trying to have a real conversation, it's a certain way you have to approach it. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
And I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds fair. And so I heard something that was very intriguing last week about a role of a wife, and how the role of a wife is not the role of a mother, and how mothers they coddle their children. So no matter what you do wrong, I'm gonna still love you, baby, But a wife is more of an accountability partner, that she doesn't coddle, she challenges you to help you grow and become better. Yeah. Can you talk more about that? Because I think sometimes there can be a misconception as a wife that I need to be kind of his mother. I need to support him in everything, and, and just coddle him and help him and all this stuff, as opposed to really taking that role of, let me challenge you. And when you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Right. And I'm that kind of thing. So can you share more about that? I just thought that was kind of an intriguing thought.
It is an intriguing thought, and it's a legit thing, right? Because as Gabe's wife, when I married him, I saw potential, right? And so the thing, and he's laughing, but I'm just saying potential to what he could become and who he was on the inside. So my goal as the wife is to bring that potential out. So whether that means I challenge him to see it himself, or I push him to go after it, it was my ultimate goal. And I feel like women, we have wounds because we give birth. So sometimes I have to help give birth to his vision as well, right? And sometimes that's a level of, some women be like, I mean, I don't think it's all about him and submissive. I mean, it's a submission is a powerful position as a woman. Because when you submit right, you still gonna get what you want, but then your husband is elevating. And so every wife doesn't, I think sometimes it takes a level of humility as a wife to be able to submit to your husband so that he can elevate. But a good husband, when he elevates, you gonna elevate. You know, I've never seen where my husband has held me back from going after what I want to do, you know, pursuing my dreams. He doesn't feel intimidated. He encourages it. Why? Because I encourage his first, right? And so I feel like as a wife, it's not about being a mother, it's about being a helpmate. It's by seeing the vision in your husband and being the one to help push it out. And sometimes I could be the bad guy because of it. But at the end of the day, like when I first met Gabe, he's like, hey, you know, he be talking rough. I'm like, hey, you gotta talk smooth, you know? He was just like, hey, what's up, you know? And I'm like, well, babe, in certain environments, you need to be, you know, a little bit more, you know, refined. And so he used to fuss with me about that. But eventually, he came through.
You still hadn't made a breakthrough with the flip-flops he wear even in the wintertime. That's still working on that.
But, you know, but one thing about my husband is he listens to me, because even when he was going to school or even being as a lender, it's like, babe, why don't you consider this? Or, babe, why don't you consider that? And he'll consider it. He doesn't fight me on it. He'll be like, okay, I'm going to try it. And when he does it, he's actually successful in it. And that's why I said, as a woman, we see the potential, and it's for us to push it out of them.
You know, to kind of add to that, I mean,
that's good, Chioma. I had to say that. I think you're helping. Let me hear from y'all in the chat if this is helping you guys. If there's questions that you have, please feel free to ask. We want to add you to this conversation. So, Gabe, go ahead with that wisdom. I know it's good. Go ahead.
A lot of men can take offense to that. You know, the last part that she said in terms of her coming to me, hey, Gabe, why don't you try this or why don't you try that? A lot of men can take offense to it, like, okay, so now you're trying to tell me what I need to do. You know what I mean? But for me, you know, for a man, you have to be secure in yourself, secure in who you are as a man. You know, and a lot of times your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, your better half has a lot to do with that, making sure that, you know, they elevate you in that role to be able to be the man of the house, to be able to, you know, make the decisions that you need to make as a man. So I've never, you know, felt threatened in any kind of way. You know, she encourages me, I encourage her, we push each other, because at the end of the day, we have one common goal. You know, and that common goal is for this family to be successful. So as long as we have that goal in mind, it don't matter who's making the most money or who brings home the bacon. As long as the bacon is coming into the family,
that's right,
and it's helping to support the house, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
I'm glad you said that, man, because there were moments where you made more money than me. There was moments I made more money than you, but you always was the decision maker. Like he was always the one to determine what we would do with it. It didn't change. I don't care if I was making more or not. Like that was his role. I trusted him in it because he shows him, he's a leader, and I supported him with that. So I don't look at my money as my money, his money is his money. It's our money. It's what we need to do to help take the family to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I still give him the choice, the decision. He has the decision-making power as to where we go as a family, financially, and in other areas.
But let me say something.
I'm going. Go ahead.
In that, though, in having that power, I don't feel comfortable making a decision without considering her thoughts.
That's right.
Taking her thoughts into consideration.
That's right.
I'm not just going to say, I'm just unilaterally going to make this decision, and that's the decision for, the family.
Right.
I take her thoughts into consideration. A lot of times, if we're on opposite end, I'm trying to convince her. I'm because at the end of the day, I want both of us to be on the
To be
same on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's kind of how we decided to to work this marriage,
Right.
and it's working out for us.
Yeah, and so Gabe, you're a great man. I wish he can clone you and all of that, right? So,
It's
but
all-
there's some men in the house that a woman is saying, I don't submit to my husband because I feel like he's not leading me in the right direction. So I feel like I got to take the lead because I have to, not because I want to. I feel like I have to because either he's not in sync with God. I don't know where he's getting his advice from. I don't really trust that. So what would you say to that woman that's in that situation?
That's tough.
That is tough. That is tough. But what I would say is for that woman to still continue, and if he's leading her in the wrong direction, not to come back and say, "See, I told you so." Don't, a man that, a man soon enough would realize, okay, the direction I'm leading this woman or these decisions that I'm making are not benefiting the family. So by her still playing her role in a sense and doing what, I don't want to make it seem like, this is a woman's role, this is a man's role, but by her continuing to play her role in a sense, eventually a good man, because I have to make that distinction.
You have to make a distinction.
Yeah, a good man will realize, okay, the direction I'm leading this family to is not the right direction. I need to start paying attention more to my life.
Yeah.
So,
and it's real. I mean, because I think men they're maturing too in the marriage. So
absolutely.
They're learning. They got to find their way. So they may make some mistakes, but that doesn't change your position as a wife. You still have to be a wife. You still have to support. You still have to allow him to lead, right. Even if sometimes it may be over or healed, but he has to learn.
Yeah.
And I think what you do as a wife is continue to support.
Absolutely.
You just continue to support.
Continue to encourage.
Be the example.
Yeah.
Yes. Be the example, and just continue to push, continue to support.
And I think I feel like wives, we have this strong intuition about things. And even though we're not leading, we can have a very strong influence on the leader, right?
Yeah.
I feel like God speaks to us in a special kind of way.
Yeah.
And I feel like a good man knows how to tap into that and not shun his wife or shut her down or tell her to be quiet, because you could be quiet in God's voice, right? To kind of share what your next level is, as we're the womb mates, right? We're the ones that carry that vision, So all of what you guys said is very, very powerful. What were you gonna say, Chioma?
It really takes a confident man, because some men are insecure, and so they feel some kind of way when you're saying some things, or they have their own demons that they haven't worked through with their mama and all this kind of stuff. So they bring all those factors into the marriage, and so when you're trying to honestly help your man, he feels like you're attacking him.
Right.
And it's not because of you; it's because of himself. He hasn't dealt with him. And women, we always talk about counseling, but there's some Black men out here that need some counseling too. I just want to plug that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta learn to love yourself before you can learn to love a woman.
That's right.
So if you haven't taken that time to learn about yourself and to really love yourself, then how can you say you can love a woman?
Woo, you said something.
Yeah, and I think that's a deep topic, and that's probably a topic for another day. But when I kind of had my men in divorce panel, I mean, they kind of shared that at times they don't really heal; they just find a new boo, right? Because they don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone with those emotions. You know what I mean? And so all of a sudden they find themselves married, and they're not, they're kind of ill-equipped on how to navigate through that marriage, knowing that they didn't really do all of their hard work properly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Whether it's, couples having challenges with their sexual, experience, or maybe there's infidelity outside of the marriage. That's a really big topic in marriages. It's the topic of sex. So I want to ask two questions.
Okay.
First, is it okay that spouses have friends of the opposite sex? Because that could be a door. That could be a door, right?
Yeah.
But in what case is it okay, and in what case is it not okay?
Like she just said, unless
they're ugly.
They found it ugly. They like 400 pounds.
Unless they ugly. 400 pounds. Okay.
Oh, we don't want to body shame now, but the ugly part I understand. So they could be ugly.
No body shame. There's some beautiful thick women out there. Let me say. But anyways, back to reality. So, I mean, I think it's okay if the other spouse is okay with it. I think the minute that they're not comfortable with it, then that's when you have to reconsider the position. Because, you know, Gabe used to have his friend, I used to call her the fugitive.
The fugitive.
Call different numbers. But she would never ask to talk.
That's not.
She would never ask to talk to me. But this, you know, he said this is his friend, but this is the person that had so much to say when he found out that he was getting married. It's like, oh, I thought me and you were gonna be, and then y'all. I wasn't comfortable with that situation only because, you know, she had an interest, right? So, you know, and it took some time for her to get her little self on because she kept finding different numbers to call him with. But you know,
that's not true.
we talked about that. Like, I'm not comfortable with it. Right. But you know, he has a couple of good girlfriends that I'm actually cool with, you know, that I don't have a problem, and beautiful friends too, on top of that. But it's because, you know, the way that we were introduced and I was able to fill them out. I didn't feel any type of, I didn't feel threatened, right? He did the right thing to introduce them besides fugitive, but the other ones were, you know.
Fugitive. So friends are okay if spouse approved, right?
I think so.
I mean, that's what she's saying, you know.
Okay, what did you say, Gabe?
You know, this particular topic, I was talking to one of my homeboys, one of my brothers. Shout out to my brother. Yeah, we were talking about it. I think 2 weeks ago, and his thoughts on it was like, absolutely not. You know, they cannot coincide. They cannot be friends of the opposite sex. But I kind of think it's possible. Honestly, it is possible. But like Chioma said, you know, it has to be, you know, your spouse have to be okay with it. You know, you was once married. You know, if Tay Diggs was one of your closest friends.
You mean Tay Diggs?
Yeah, exactly. You know, how would your ex-husband have felt about that?
I think Tay Diggs would have been my husband. Keeping it real.
Okay.
But I get it. I understand.
So I mean, you get the point I'm trying to make. So
yeah.
As long as your spouse is okay with it, you know, he doesn't or she doesn't feel threatened in any kind of way, I think it's fine.
Yeah. And sometimes your spouse, it's like they don't even know. I'm like, she like you, and I'm like, no, she don't. She like you. Okay? And sometimes they don't know that their friend is crushing on them. But we women, we know, we feel the vibe and the energy. We see the hand on the shoulder, like put that down. You know what I'm saying? But we know, we feel that energy. And so sometimes they're oblivious to the fact that, okay, this woman's crushing on you, but you married, right? And trying to convince them that maybe this is not a good relationship to continue to have. You know, this could cause problems.
Yeah.
Is that a real statement?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, how important is sex in marriage? And if for couples that are struggling with sex in their marriage, maybe they're not sexually compatible, or one person has a higher sex drive than the other, or whatever. What advice would you give that couple that's struggling? What can they do?
I mean, how important is sex in a marriage?
Very.
Sex is very, very, very important.
Man.
It's how most men, I'm not going to say all men, it's how most men interpret love.
Okay.
for certain is how I, connect with my wife. It's how I interpret love. It's how I'm able to. I know she loves me, and she know I love her. I know she loves me based on things that she do for my family, for my around the house with the kids. But how I know the best that she loves me is when we in that bedroom, that's, doing what we do.
Right.
So that's for most men, and I know women is different. Women look at sex differently.
And I think sex has its seasons in marriage. Sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's just like you better get in where you fit in. Or I just had your big-headed baby. So it's like it changes, especially for women. I mean, it goes up and down, and I think the best thing that kind of helps us is to constantly communicate those changes, and then work on how we can help each other through those changes, because realistically things happen.
Absolutely.
In marriage. So to say that you have those 20-minute love action going on, rolling around in the bed, I mean, that's not always realistic, and so sometimes you have to create a mood or it kind of do things to kind of help out, because your body's changing, your mood changes. So, what we used to do is we used to have our before COVID, we would have our hotel nights.
Yeah.
So we would go out for the weekend, leave on a Friday, come back Sunday. Thank you to babysitting the kids at those moments. But we had those moments where we would just get away, just us two, and that would be our time to kind of be free and just kind of connect and keep that fire going and doing what we feel like we need to do to be intentional about our sex life.
So making time for it, making it a priority, sex being a love language for men. Women, I know we go through changes in our body and our just all of that. It can be a lot of changes. So we may, evolve when it comes to our desire for sex. And, we are more emotional. So for us, we need kind of to know that you said I look cute today, or you called and checked up on me today. You being extra sweet. You in to pick me up some hot wings. Hot wings my favorite food. We like to eat. Okay. So you pick me up something to eat. Those are some of the things I think get women in the mood. That's kind of how our love language works. And I think just understanding how both people are wired is how then you can, bring that together.
Right.
Am I talking about somebody, man?
With that, that takes time. Sometimes it takes years to build up to that point. Because it took me a while. I'm not even gonna lie about that. It took me a while to be able to understand that. Okay, if she's had a long day at work or she's had a stressful day, sex probably ain't gonna happen on this day. And that's just being real. If she's had a stressful day and then have to come home and cook and then take care of the kids, it's like, you can forget it. So it took me a long while, but I had to learn, like, okay, if I really want it, how can I take a lot of this stuff off of her plate?
Yeah.
Like, okay, how can I, you know what? I'm going to make sure I pick some up for the kids, for the family to eat. I'm going to pick up some dinner. Clear out, you got to worry about that. Okay.
What else can I get out your way?
Oh, she's stressed. Okay, let me pour her some wine. So just trying to figure out, okay, what can I do as a man to kind of alleviate that stress or that burden so I can get at the end of the day what I want. I may not get it tonight, but you better believe the following night I'm gonna get it tomorrow. So
I love that. So in that same vein, I mean, some couples are struggling with sex because maybe the other couple, especially during the pandemic, y'all, we've been home, we haven't really been working out, we ain't been eating, right? So maybe the other couple ain't looking as their best self. Maybe they gained a little extra weight. How important is image in your marriage? Because some couples may say, we've been together a long time. You should love me for me. I'm 50 pounds heavier than when you met me, but I had your kids, right? So you supposed to love all this, right? And the man may have let himself go. He lost his job, so he's been on the couch watching TV, and now he's not healthy. He hasn't worked out, and what have you. So how important is image in a marriage? Is it important still after 15 years, or is it one that you just kind of learn how to evolve with how the person looks at that moment?
Nah, it's very important.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm like, that's not fair, because and both ways, right? So it's just because
Absolutely.
you were attracted to this person for whatever reason. You were physically attracted to this person for certain reasons, and just to kind of say, well, this is me. You just need to. And then you don't want him to look at no other woman. Like, I don't really understand that. I feel like first of all, you want to look good for yourself first, and then you want to look good for your man. You want your man to be like, hey, that's my wife, And so, sometimes Gabe will give me little gentle reminders when he feel like I'm getting a little thick. He'd be like, hey, babe, we might have to start. He won't say nothing. He'd be like, let's start working out. Let's go run it tomorrow. That's his way of saying, you get a little thick. But I think it's okay. I feel like when we looking good for each other, it just keeps adding to that attraction for each other. You want your man to be attracted to you, not looking at the other woman, the other fine woman that's walking by, So I think it's a way for you to stay secure within yourself as women, because when women have let themselves go, they feel away. I mean, whether they try to say they don't, like, I love all of this. Yes, that's great, and some women do, fine, but if your husband is saying something about it, then it's something to consider. Yeah. But as a man, don't just be thinking your wife gonna go jump in the gym and you're not doing anything to help and support her.
Absolutely.
But I think images.
Or you're not doing it either. Like, you overweight too, but you telling her that she need a.
Exactly.
And women, it's already hard enough for us to lose weight. Men can lose it like this in 2 seconds. It's not an easy process. So I get that. So if you wanted to change something about yourself, like, Chioma, if you wanted to kind of go, like, what I'm saying, what's that lady name that'll shave her hair off? What's the lady name? Black Unicorn.
Oh, Tiffany.
Haddish. If you want to go Tiffany Haddish on Gabe next week, is there something you got to discuss with him, or because you just, this me, I'm going to do me, this my head, I can do whatever I want? How does that work?
It don't work. It's just like, if I'm going to do something that drastic, I do need his input. You know what I mean? Because it again goes back to that attraction piece. Gabe, this right here too much for him already. You know what I'm saying? So for me to go completely, and I see some women do it, they look beautiful, right? But for me, my head ain't that shaped like that. So if I'm doing that, he gonna be like. So I think it is important. I mean, because you want to stay attracted to your significant other, right? So I think it is worth the conversation.
That's true. The first thing is you gotta remember, okay, who are you doing this for? You're doing it for yourself first and foremost, right? As the woman or the man, but more importantly to me, you're doing it for your spouse. Right? Mm-hmm. So if your spouse is not on board, or if you feel like, okay, that's something that they may have an issue with, I mean, that could be a potential problem,
Because if Gabe shaved his beard, we getting a divorce. All right. You're gonna stay on. I don't care if you
got. See how thick this is.
That's why you divorce with your beard. Do not shave your beard, men. Don't shave the beard, please.
You will. I'll be sending you the paper and email. I won't even give it to you in person.
These beards out here saving lives and saving faces. I'm so saving some faces out here. So keep it on. But no, I thank you for sharing that with us. And like I said, you guys are fun, by the way. Thank you for your transparency, your humor. I know a lot of people have been helped tonight. If you guys have been helped tonight, I see y'all watching. Let me know if y'all have some questions. We're about to wrap it up now. But we definitely want to make sure we don't, tune out tonight without hearing from you. Yeah. So like I said, there are couples that are struggling, in the pandemic right now, like I said, going through a divorce or thinking about contemplating a divorce. And I always say, please, please, please make sure that is the best decision for your family, that you're doing it for the right reasons, because divorce is literally like a death sentence initially when you go through it. It's not something I would wish on my worst enemy. And so that's why I'm doing this platform, is because I want marriages to last. I know what it feels like to not have a marriage that lasts. And so whatever I can do to put content out here to help people realize what they had, work through it as best you can. If it's toxic or abusive, exit. Anything other than that, really finding those tools to kind of make it work. So what would you say, what would be your final words to that couple that is hanging in the balance right now in their marriage? What would you say to encourage them?
I think it was a good point that you mentioned, as long as it's not toxic or, emotionally or physically, abusive situation, there's still hope. And what I would say to, the couple, men and women, mostly men, is, you got to just remind yourself, why did you marry her in the first place? How were you able to get this woman? Take yourself back to that point when you began courting your wife. And when you're on that verge, just remind yourself of that. Okay, what was it about that woman that attracted you to that? Yes, over the years, she may have changed, but so have you. You both have changed. So it's about sitting down together and really having that honest dialogue. Okay, we are a team, and that's one thing that we both had to, talk about. We are a team. And we're gonna do this life thing as a team, and we always keep that in the foremost of everything that we do. We are a team. At the end of the day, whatever we do is for this family.
Yeah.
And sometimes for a man, we lose sight of that because, she's not doing this, she's not doing that, she's picked up 50 pounds or whatever the case may be. Okay, if she picked up 50 pounds, what are you doing about it? How did you, what were you doing when she picked up 5 pounds, when she picked up 10 pounds, when she picked up 20 pounds?
Yeah.
Along the way, so you waited till she picked up 50 pounds before you said anything or you did anything? So, if she's 5 pounds overweight and you're starting to kind of feel some kind of way, encourage her. Not only encouraging her, okay, hey, let's go work out, let's go walking. Do it with her as a team once again. So that would be the last comment.
I love that. And we were able to talk, when we were kind of prepping for the show, we talked about when is it okay to involve people in your marriage, because you hear a lot of advice, say, don't tell nobody, keep it hush hush. And these marriages are crumbling because they're not seeking sound wisdom. Obviously, you two can't work it out. There are instances where it is okay to tag somebody in that's unbiased, that won't tell your business to the streets, and whether it's a pastor or a counselor or somebody that you trust to help you level set, to be that accountability partner. The man should have his, the woman should have this, and you guys should have a couple that you go to together to really help with those issues that you're getting stuck in. Do you guys agree as that, that it's okay to involve people at times in your marriage?
And that's what saved our marriage. I mean, to
Absolutely.
be real, to be honest with you, there was a time where we wanted to, call it quits. Because it got that tough, and that's the reality of this thing called marriage. It does get to those moments where it gets tough because we're still evolving, and in our evolution, we're not seeing eye to eye. We haven't become yet as a couple, so we're still struggling to merge together. And there's moments where, you're not patient enough for everybody to kind of hit their maturity point. With that being said, we did call on our village at that moment to help us, and we called family members that we trusted. And they came in, they sat down with us, and they talked us through the process. We went through marriage counseling. We did whatever it took. It's not over to the, to the fat lady thing. So we did everything. We tried everything before we said, you know what, this is just not going to work, right? So before you get to the point where you're just like, it's just not going to work, do your work, do whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you got to look at what's at stake. Like, what can you lose? You know, sometimes you have to look at the long term, not the short term. What's going to happen to our family financially? How are we going to survive if we're separate? Like, it's a lot involved with divorce. It's a lot that at stake. And is it worth that? Now, some instances it is, depending on the type of relationship. But before you get there, do the work. Do whatever it takes. Call on your accountability partners, your trusted advisors, your counselors, and give it all you got before you decide to say we're done. And we honestly did that. So we're not sitting here perfect, like we had the perfect marriages and we always peeing in each other's face. There's times
I wish we did. But,
yeah, there was times I wanted to choke him and he wanted to, choke me. But, at the end of the day, we looked at what was that.
So it takes a village to raise a child, but also takes a village to support a marriage too.
Absolutely.
So it's that community, because it's all communal. So to think that we need people here, but we don't need people here, I don't think we're communal. We need people in every aspect of our life. Even when you're going through the healing process of divorce, you need people around you. You cannot do it alone. I didn't do it alone. You guys are looking at the couple that I say saved my life. When I was divorced, I moved in with them. Gabe would wake up at 3 a.m., do the night shift with the baby. The baby was 5 months. He would feed her, change her diapers so I can get some sleep. Listen, this couple, when I say they practice what they preach, but they also have opened up their homes for so many people like myself to heal, to be restored. And so what they're talking about today, guys, I want you to put it in your hearts and really, really, really meditate on that, because it's coming from a real place. So we're wrapping up tonight. I want to thank you and Gabe, Chioma and Gabe. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I love y'all. And, I want you guys to share how people can get in touch with you. For those people that are tuning in later into the show, they may not have heard what you all do, which I love. So if you want to share that and promote your, your businesses and whatever else, you can share with people that get them connected with you. I can't talk tonight, so y'all go ahead.
Sorry, baby. Well, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, under Chi Homes, because I am a real estate agent. I sell homes. And hubby is his Instagram.
A mortgage lender.
He's a mortgage lender. Is at Lending with Gabe. Lending with Gabe is his handle on Instagram. GABE on Facebook as well. So we work as a team. When you get me, you get him. We work very well together, and we are very passionate about getting people into their homes, because this is a life and it's emotional. So it's a life-changing moment. It's very emotional, so you need strong people to kind of help you navigate through the journey. So yeah, that's what we do. And so if you ever need anything from us, reach out, and we hope to,
or even if you have some questions,
yeah, reach out. And we're hoping to launch relationship and real estate is kind of what we want to start doing in the future. So look out for us.
Yeah, so relationship and real estate is kind of like almost like a little show in itself, where you guys talk about your real estate business, but also talk about relationships. So I thought that was a really neat concept. I can't wait for you guys so much. I'm your biggest fan. And so we're saying goodbye to you guys tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. And listen. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Okay, y'all see me? Okay. Okay, here we go. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Okay, I think we're here. All right, just sharing some final thoughts. First of all, I want to thank you all for tuning in. How to divorce-proof your marriage. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions for Gabe and Chioma. Well, like I said, I wanted to create this platform because you're like, what is a divorce coach doing talking about marriage? Listen, I got a married couple. I'm here to talk about marriage, okay? But I'm passionate about seeing relationships being successful, divorce-proofing, making sure that you don't go through the path of divorce in your relationship. So that means healthy dating, choosing the right partners, having healthy practices in marriage. And if unfortunately you have a marriage that ends in divorce, I'm here to help you heal and walk through that process to rebuild your life. So I love you, love you, love you guys. I hope something that we said tonight will help your marriage this year to weather through the pandemic. We want to see more marriages flourishing. We want to see more proposals. We want to see more love. And that's the goal of this show. So I love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll talk soon.